Welcome, Ji. Let us talk on annotations. And Java introduced annotations from JTK5 onwards. Before JTK5, there is no kind of annotations available in Java, and any kind of configuration generally we are doing in the form of property file, XML file. But now after Java 5, annotation helps to do some kind of configuration, some metadata using the annotation. So let's get understood what is the annotation and how can we create our own custom annotation as well as. So annotation, what the meaning of annotation? Form of metadata, provide data about the program. That is a part of your program itself. Okay, that means key if you have a one programs here. I'm talking about the class, and I want to provide some additional informations for this class. Generally, previously we are doing write some comments and adding the some metadata information. But from using the help of annotation, you can put additional information about this program as well as. So you can see annotations assign extra metadata to your source code. Okay, and this have some help to configure. Simply you can say annotation offer an alternative to use the XML descriptions or marker interface. Previously, we used to put some extra information about the class, about the method, then we have to go the XML configurations or help us the marker interface as well as. So here the first things where you can use these annotations. So these are the following sections of your programs in a class where generally annotation can place. The annotation can use at the following levels. First, the package labels, the class labels, the interface level, method level, constructor level, and field levels. So sometime if let's say you have one class, in this class you want to make this is the entity class, or this is the bean class, or this is the domain abc class. Here class level metadata can be placed using the your annotations. Similarly, for the constructor levels, for field labels as well as. So these annotation helps. Show annotations, you can see these are the three places. So annotation can inform the compiler about the warning, error, something, whatever you want. And similarly, annotation can manipulate our source code at a compilation time, and annotation can modify or examine the behavior at a runtimes. So these annotations are make impact on your source code level, your compilation times level, and as well as your runtimes. So this metadata information can reflect it at the different level, compile time level as well as the runtime level. Whenever your application is running at that time, this metadata information can available, and accordingly your application can take behave. So when Java introduced annotations, they provide some inbuilt annotation as well. So just as a developer can use it. Okay, so these are the inbuilt annotations like override. Whenever there is a one class and in subclass, if let's key your this is my f1 function here method return, and you are again defining f1 here, and if you want to override, okay, so previously there is no any options, but here if you just make at the rate annotation like override. That means you are overriding the definition of your parent class in your to a child class here. So sometimes maybe developer write some different name, maybe a small case, uppercase letter, and any spell to writing this method. Like here is a F, small f, and either a capital F, capital F. So this is not override. Just you define giving the new definition, not the overriding. But whenever you are marking any methods as a override, then check you have a really overridden or not, then the compiler can enforce you, oh, you don't override this. So you have to again write your small letter and F1 kind of things. This help us to at the different level, compile time level, runtime level, and some others inbuilt annotations like the suppress warning, if and some deprecated method, and some safe where arguments. That is from Java 8 introduced the functional interface as well as if there is an interface you want to make a functional, just annotate the functional interface and add the native as well as. So these are the inbuilt annotations which we can use while developing any applications. And whenever we are talking about the annotation configurations, whenever we are defining an annotations, we have to put some meta annotations while defining own annotations. Like we in whenever you are defining any annotations, they have make some meta annotation like the target. This is the target at source code levels, or you can say class level or field level, method level, like a different targets you have to specify. Similarly, you can specify retention policy by when at the compile time level or by runtime level. This retention policy we can placed, and this is the at the rate inheritance. These are the kind of if your one class this annotated the some some annotations, and there is your child class or subclass, and then these annotations also inherited in the child class. Similar cases you have to use the inherited meta annotation as well as, and you want to this annotation, this data information would be the part of your documentation, so you have to also include the documentation, and you want to sometimes repeat the same annotation in multiple times. For those cases we have to use the repeatable annotations. So these are the some meta configurations while building our own customs, you can say, annotation that time we have used. To be as a developer, be we have to note some points while writing my own annotation. You can see user customs or user defined annotations. Whenever you want to define your own annotations, at that times, what the key points as a developer we have to take care. These are the points like. Whenever we are going to create any own custom interface, custom annotations, then we have to use the at the rate keywords before the interface keyword. Just I'm giving example as well as. And the second things, whenever you define your annotations, look like an interface with the keywords at the rate, and whatever the method you have defined inside this interface that have no parameters, means all the methods should have without parameters, and any methods which are defining inside the annotations that cannot throw any exception. So for this any kind of method you are defining inside your annotations, that should know any parameter and could not throw any exceptions. And similarly all the methods defining inside your annotations, the return types, they have some apply restrictions by the first all the return types should be any primitives or string class, or you can say enum or any other annotation as well as or array of your any these types. So these are the restricted. You cannot returns any things which you want, but that mostly prefer the primitive data types and your strings value and some constants in the visualize. And whenever sometimes we have options, we can also give some default value of your particular attributes of a particular annotations. In those cases, take care you cannot put null value for any value in as a default null. If you are putting something that must be some valid value, not a null. So these are kind of points as it while writing my own custom annotation we have to take. Let's example if I'm writing one annotation as well as. And the last things, whenever you are writing your own annotations, that kind of different types, maybe marker annotations. That means there is no any you can have fields available in the interface and annotations. And simply single valued means they have only one attributes, and they are multi-value annotation. That means they have a multiple field yeah value available in the annotations. So let us write one simple example so that we are able to understand how we can define my own custom annotations. So for defining any custom annotations, we have to write a keyword at the rate before the interface. So just write at the rate interface and just place my custom annotation, user defined annotation, user defined annotation. So this is your annotations. And now in whenever you are writing any class, any methods, let's say we're writing class help, and here you can use my own annotation like we are defined annotations. So in this example, we have defined our user defined annotation, and here I'm able to use it. So this is the simple syntax. Whenever you want to go define your own custom annotations, we have to use your interface keyword and add that symbol. That make inform compiler. This is your not interface, but this is your annotations. And this custom annotations you can use at the rate and your annotation in your class level, method level, field level as well as. And such interface such annotation, this is the interface, this annotation they have not defined any value here, so this is known as your marker annotations. And sometime if you want to define some value here like string value, so here is your now we have defined one value here, and that means this is your single value annotations. But you are noting here, here they are giving here are values missing through required. Here in this my annotations, we say ki this need one value. But whenever while using these annotations, we are not passing any value. So here we have to pass whatever value. Let's see. Uh, So these are the way now whenever these annotations are used. Sometimes maybe you want to define multi annotations. Let's see, this is let's see, I have a some page size. Let's see, page size. So here you can also give some default value. Now, wherever here this example we have here, U is the this is the multi-value annotations, and here we have two values. But while I am using my annotations, we are not passing these two value, so our compiler uh, give error. Might not be initialized. Whenever you are giving any integer value, sorry, we have to pass. This is the way. We have a page size, but here I'm not passing. Here I'm not initializing page size, so this is giving me error. So you have to pass here your page size as well as page size, and that's the value 4. So whenever we are passing a more than multi-value, in the multi-value case, we have to pass value, and this is your value. This is your key, and this is your value. So here, sometime I maybe some another example. I want only this one value. I don't want to make a page size. So how will do? Let's see class A, B, C, and here I'm just annotating at the rate zero define notation. I want to pass only single value, one. I don't want to pass here page size value, maybe. So for that to be in the while our implementation of annotation, we have to give some default value. So for here, default value should be let's see one, and similarly, for value maybe default value should be blank. So this is the way you can put your default value for your annotations. In this case, you are able to use it like annotation without any value. Okay. In this case, all the default values are placed here. So it look like you can assume this is the one kind of interface. These are the different your abstract method, and but whenever you are provided default value, you are not while consuming while using this interface, you are not passing anything. Means default value are placed here for these two attributes, and if you are using, we can use only one value, and also we can pass the two as well as both value and page size. In this way, we can provide the here that means key the actual this is the kind of method and implementation can be here you can say assume, but and sometime maybe you think I have this none. So this way we are able to use your annotations, and either proper value. Uh, let's sometimes if you want this value in your code or some additional value, so while run times we have to pass your these you can get these past value as well as while the running your application. Okay, and next things we have to put here while creating your own annotations. This is not to complete your implementation. Whenever you are running this application, you might get kind of not able to get the value. Here you are not providing any retention policy by when this is applicable. So you have to provide like here retention policy, like here retention policy. Like I want to this retention policy should be our source type level, or a class level, or runtime level. Okay, so let's see. I want to this policy will be a runtime level. Similarly, you have to pass your target where you can apply these annotations, or uh, you have to apply this annotations like your field level, constructor level, method level, module level, package level, or types. That means the class or interface level. That's I want to apply. This is the type level. So in this way, you are able to use your annotations. And okay, let's see. I am going to use this class like help is equal to help. Okay, and here I want to just from this class I want to get the help 1 2 3 any value. I want to in the, while the running application, if you need this value inside your code, you can also get from. So if you first if you let's see your object now dot your get class, after that you can get annotation get annotations, and which for which class you want to, I want to from your this is my annotation for you. This is my annotation class. You can just pass your class, and this way you can get your object, and from here you can just get your annotation value as well as dot to get your value, uh, get your base size, whatever you, so in this way whatever your value applied here you can also access, and if you run this code you will able to find this value. So let's it will now just help that's it. Uh, so this is a very simple way you can now okay, here we are able to retrieve the annotated additional information of the class. So uh, so in summary, you can say whenever you want to define your own custom annotations, you have used at the rate interface and your annotation name. And if you want to provide some value with this, then write some your method name and method one, method two, and be ensure key you don't can pass the default value, but default value cannot be null. And first here method with all the method here should be no argument. We cannot pass any argument here. This is the simply this is the value, and here you can provide the value values. This is the page size, and here you are passing the page size. So you have don't pass any argument, and this AP this method cannot throw any exception as well. So and all the return types of this is maybe a string class, maybe integer class, or any primitive data types you can pass. And all the you can default value, you can put default value, but don't put any default value as a null. If you let's here try to null, put here null, yeah, null if you want to put here, he give you warning. Attribute must be constant and cannot be null here. You can say default is the null. Null here is not allowed. Similarly, if we pass the your any value that allow. So be take care while, and you can also specify your retention policy by event. You can use that runtime, or these annotations are you are going to use at the class level. Here I am using the class level. You can also specify the multiple types. Maybe here you want to field level. Here you want to field level, you can pass field level. You want to pass a constructor level, you can pass constructor. And that means that these annotations can be used your class level, can be used your method level, can be your constructor level. And similarly, you can also pass the document. This all the meta informations also available on the documentation section, and also you can pass like in inherited. That means ki all the subclass, let's see here is a, you are writing another class help to help help to extend help. So Here, these annotations are also inherited for the L2 as well. So these are your meta annotations. Whenever you are defining annotations, these meta annotations are we have to also define the target and the retention policy, and maybe this is the optional as per your use case. You can define this too, inherited or documented or repeated. But that's it. For creating your own custom class, this is very simple. Just you write your interface and write your custom annotation name and whatever value you want to pass here, so that while using the annotations, these value are plus. And here generally we give the only return types. All the primitive data types are string class, and your method name should be used here, and you can pass your default value. You can also override the default value here, and multiple parameters are passed. If you're not passing any value, that is your marker annotations. You pass single value, your single annotation value, and you can pass multiple value, your multi-value annotations. So hope it's very useful if sometime you want to use your annotation. And you can also think whatever in your application use annotation. You can also check what kind of these attributes are defined inside. If let's see, I'm here overriding two strings. So here these are the inbuilt your to if you go to the check, these are the implementation. These are the your marker annotation. There is no any value defined about target. This annotation only applies on your method level. You cannot apply this annotations or class level or constructor level. And retention policy, this is the source code. Means ki while your code compilation time, this will check you have applied this override annotations or not annotation. And if you try to use these annotations are at the class level, override, this is not allowed. Okay, this annotation not applicable for the type subclass. So we categorize where your annotations, if you're defining, can use. This is the class level, or your method level, or your field level, or you can, let's give you a field string name. If you passing here, just you want to apply your override. Override. So these are not allowed. Similarly, here override is not for this field. So we have to specify your target types. This is the your for all the class level, field level, or constructor level, and this retention policy by when these values are retained at the compile time level or the runtime levels, and these are help us. So hope now you are able to understood the annotations and what are the configuration, what are the meaning, and you can also very easily define your own annotations with a simple way, and you can use your own customized annotation with any class level, field level, and value level. Okay, hope it is useful for you, and now I'm just wrapping up. Thank you for watching this video.